This isn't the first time either where he's like, O-line, I owe you one. I owe you one there. Do it! Show us that you owe them one. I mean, shoot, you even saw it on the players' faces. They're all smoking cigars after the win, like they won the freaking Super Bowl. But you know what? I'll let you all have that since you guys don't have many victories very often. Oh, shocker. Tennessee Titans that I've said again and again. Just blow that shit up, man. Blow it up. You are not making the playoffs. You are not going to be in contention anytime soon. I do not understand why you try to continue to be respectable. What's going on, everyone? You're listening to the Antonio Chaudan Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Antonio Chaudan. And I have a lot of thoughts of what took place during this week 9 of the NFL season. First things first, I want to go over my thoughts of the Chiefs' victory against the Miami Dolphins in Frankfurt, Germany. That was a great game. It was a lot of fun to watch, but I definitely have a lot of thoughts on that game. Also, just some more general thoughts as we are passing halfway now through the season after week 9. Since there's now 18 weeks in the season, I guess this could be a good middle point in the season. So we're going to look over the current playoff standings and where all the teams stand halfway through the season. And then we'll get into my week 10 hitting double digits, baby. Y'all ready now? Damn, this season it's going by quick. Not sure how I feel about that, but it's all good. It is what it is. But yeah, I'll give my score predictions for that and more. So yeah, let's get started. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Miami Dolphins 21-14 in a victory, obviously. Initial thoughts is that defense looks great. I know I've been harping on this Chiefs defense all season, and there's been a reason for that. It is because we are literally allowing the second least amount of points so far this season. We are allowing only 15.9 points per game, which is just second right behind the Baltimore Ravens, who are only allowing 13.8 points per game. Baltimore looks really good. People are not talking about them as much as they are other teams like the Chiefs, like the Dolphins, like the Bills or Bengals. But the Ravens definitely need to be in that conversation. They are definitely a team that I, as a fellow Chiefs fan, fear just a little bit. Yeah, they're looking great. But we are top 5 in total points per game allowed, or not total points, total yards per game, as well as total passing yards per game. I think we're like 4th in both of those categories. And in the running category of that, where total yards we're allowing on the ground per game, I believe we're like 12th or 13th. So you can run on this defense a little bit, obviously. We're definitely going to need to shore that up. But again, we are one of the top defenses in the entire league. And being a Chiefs fan, right, under this Mahomes era of Chiefs football, this is definitely not something that I was expecting. Again, and I know I sound like a broken record a little bit here by saying that, but it feels so good to say. It feels so good to have a defense that you can rely on. And, for it to be the reason why we are winning a lot of these games is it's new charted territory as a Chiefs fan. But defense, they look great. They shut out this Miami defense for 3 quarters, except for that third quarter where the Dolphins made the game interesting and were able to score 14 unanswered points. First half shut them out, and then the fourth quarter, big old goose egg. So, yeah, defense played their part. Defense won us that game. They also got that score, stripping Tyreek of the ball there. And I believe it was McDuffie that initially punched that ball out of Tyreek's hands. And then Mike Edwards scooped it up and then lateraled it to Cook. And he took it for 6, got the high step going along the sideline. Man, I was so hyped. That was crazy. I was actually watching that game with Fran, my girlfriend, and she saw how excited I was. She saw my Chiefs fandom right front and center. And so, yeah, she's going to have to get used to that. But it was fun. It was so fun to watch and to see. But unfortunately, there are some cons to take from this game. The offense. We had an amazing an amazing first drive. We went all the way down, put up 7. Great touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes to Rashee Rice. So I was like, all right, here we go. This is going to be a game where we're going to put up at least 30. Come on. And offense stalled a lot. And there were a couple drop balls, by Marquez Valdes-Scantling, an overthrow to Watson. Questionable play calling, 3rd and short, particularly 3rd and 1. Mahomes wanted to go to Kelsey, but he had like 2-3 guys on him, so he just threw it away. And this was towards the end of the game. It was around like 2:33 left in the ball game, and he threw it out of bounds, stopped the clock. Miami had 1 or 2 timeouts at the time, and that was not good play calling in my opinion. That was definitely a time where we should have ran the ball. Pacheco was averaging about a little over 4 yards per carry. At that point in time in the game, we should have just kept feeding him, in my opinion. And so, and even Andy Reid acknowledged himself in the post game, during the press conference. He's like, I owe the O-line one. I definitely owe you guys one. All right, so stop saying it, and let's see it reflect in the play calling when the actual game is going on. So that was frustrating, just because what I don't understand is he's acknowledging it. This isn't the first time either where he's like, O-line, I owe you one. I owe you one there. Do it. Show us that you owe them one when we're in situations like that. Run the damn ball, man. I do not understand why we don't run the ball more. We can run the ball. This is a great O-line. Pacheco is a good, solid running back. Give him the ball. I do not understand why game after game we find ourselves in these situations where we can easily pull away, run the clock more, keep the opposing offense off the field by executing these 3rd and shorts, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Run the ball. Seriously, Kelsey was a non-factor in this entire game. Why do you try to go to them in that situation? I do not understand why you try to go to Kelsey on a 3rd and short when you know for damn sure he's probably going to be locked up with 2 or 3 guys on him. I don't understand that. We've had a recipe so far this game. We were able to throw the ball around to a bunch of different guys. Kelsey, even if he was a non-factor, we were still able to move the ball a little bit. In that scenario, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And it's frustrating because you see the potential. You see the more, we become more of a balanced offense where we're able to run the ball and keep the defense honest. We're able to produce. We're able to keep the offense on the field, keep the defense off the field so they can rest because they ball out every single game. It's frustrating. So I hope going into this bye week 7-2, we shore up a lot of stuff because, there was just, putting up 0 points in the second half. That's unacceptable. It really is. Going into half 21-0, you thought the game was over, and luckily we were able to build a big enough buffer, to withstand some blows from this Miami offense. This offense was only able to put up 14 points against this Miami defense. A Miami defense that I was expecting for us to be able to put some points on. Again, we only put up 14 points. The only reason we got that 21 is, again, because the defense was able to score for us. Look, Pat has been saying the offense will get figured out. Damn it, it better be, because, look, as much as the defense is balling out right now, the offense needs to be able to produce. We have to put up points, because when it comes to teams that we're going to be playing, like the Eagles, like the Bengals, like the Bills that are left on our schedule, we need to be able to put up points. It's as simple as that. Okay, so and who knows when the playoffs come around? Who knows if we're going to need to face a Baltimore team or even a Jaguars team again? Like, we got to be able to put up points against these guys, because when push comes to shove, I understand that defenses can win games, but damn it, That hasn't been the philosophy for Chiefs teams that have been winning over these past 4 or 5 years. We've been able to win in shootouts. We've been able to win because we were able to put up more points than the other team, usually north of 33, 35 points. And the only time we've been able to reach scores like that is when we played the Bears. And earlier in the season, we put up 41 points on them. We beat them 41-10. So we're not going to be playing teams of that caliber this late on in the season, and especially when we get to the playoffs. We're going to be playing contenders, and so we got to be able to put up points. So yeah, again, something else that I really want to point out as well. We were able to, get the ball. We were able to force obviously that fumble on Tyreek, and we were able to get towards the end of that game fumble from Tua, but again, he muffed that snap there. That was on him. We were able to sack him. We sacked Tua 3 times, and with that addition of that forced fumble from Tyreek, we have a total of 10 forced fumbles, 8 recovered, which is great. Great. 5 interceptions, total of 13 takeaways so far this season. But kind of what I've been saying about the offense not being able to produce, total of 17 takeaways. 17 takeaways, which is tied for second most in the entire NFL. That is not okay. And obviously, we got 5 in that last game against Denver. 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Can't have it. Cannot have it. So offense needs to keep the damn ball. Stop giving it away to the other freaking team. All right. 13 total takeaways from our defense. That's great. Let's keep it up, guys. Seriously. And we got to stop giving the ball away. It's as simple as that. We have 4 more giveaways than we do takeaways. And again, I have prefaced this many times on the show. I would hate to waste a tremendous season that the defense is having so far this season. I would hate for that to be a waste because this is by far the best team, specifically from a defensive standpoint, that Patrick has played on, without question. And so, yeah, offense needs to wake up. Andy Reid is notorious for being amazing off of bye weeks. And, it's good that we have the Eagles coming off of this bye. So hopefully that statistic stays true because this is an Eagles team that is no joke. They are 8-1. They are looking good. Little interesting what's going on with Jalen Hurts. He's definitely hurt. He hasn't been the same player so far this season, and I definitely can see that it's due to him not being 100%. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on there. But yeah, I mean the second half of the season is going to be a test for sure because let's be honest, we haven't really faced adequate competition up through these 9 games, except for really that game 1 against Detroit, Jaguars that following week, and then Miami. So and the Chargers are always a tough team, and that when they got against the Jets last night looked pretty dominant. From a scoreline perspective, if you watch the game, it was definitely more so that the Jets are just that bad offensively in comparison to the Chargers just being that good. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we play a lot of good teams down the stretch here, including the Eagles, including the Bengals and the Bills. The Bills, I have some thoughts on them for sure. But hey, going into this bye week 7-2, a good win off of Miami. It's what we needed, especially coming off of that embarrassing loss against the Broncos. So I'll take it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Chiefs so far. So I really just have 2 quick takeaways from this week 9 of the NFL season. The first one is that the Eagles, in my opinion, are kind of a standalone in terms of definitely solidifying that number 1 seed in the NFC. Seeing the drop off that the 49ers have had over these past 3 games has done a lot of damage. Starting off 5-0 and then losing 3 in a row after that undefeated start is very tough for them. And you're looking at this Cowboys team that the Eagles beat yesterday. Look, Dallas was in that game. They were. But as kind of the status quo has been for this Dallas team, Cowboys do Cowboys things. And they lost that game. Dak stepped out of bounds on a 2-point conversion play that could have brought it down to a field goal score. And then They're driving the ball. They have the ball literally in deep in Philadelphia territory, and penalty after penalty after penalty uh, pushes them more back and back and back, and then they're not able to score, and they inevitably lose that game. So I think the Eagles are definitely kind of stretching that gap just a little bit, enough to make it more comfortable for them. Look, anything can happen. I know on any given Sunday, but halfway through the season so far, Philly has really widened that gap, in my opinion. And that was by no means a great game by them as well, which should indicate even more so that this is a really good team. And if they are hitting on all cylinders, they are a very tough team to beat. My second takeaway is Buffalo, man. Buffalo. They're not good right now. Sitting at 5-4, a very tough loss to the Bengals yesterday. I picked the Bengals to win that game, given how they're on a little bit of a hot streak right now, winning 4 games straight. At this point, I would be surprised, to be honest with you, if the Bills make it to the playoffs. They are sitting at 5-4 right now, currently outside of the 7 playoff teams. If the season were to end today, that would be in the playoffs. They are currently 8 uh, in the standings as we speak in the AFC. So, yeah, it just not a good game. Sean McDermott, I'd be surprised if he's still the Bills coach after this season. Good guy, great guy. And he's a good coach. Obviously, everything that happened last season with Damar Hamlin, and obviously that was a real big narrative um, going into this Bengals game yesterday, given that it was around close to this time last year where it was on that very field where Damar essentially died, right? He died, and then was able to be revived. That was a very emotional time for everyone who loves the NFL, who loves football, particularly who loves the Bills, right? And just overall player safety. So that was a big narrative. I understand going into that game. Damar didn't play that game last night, but you could tell that it was a big deal for him, and rightfully so, right? I mean, shit, you freaking die on a field, a game, playing a game that you love to play, um, on a play that was relatively normal in the NFL. You didn't think it was a hit that was necessarily um, too abnormal or uncommon. And so I can't even imagine the thoughts going through his head from last night. Um, but that was a tough time for the Bills this time last season, and Sean McDermott was able to will this team through that. And so you have to give him a lot of credit for that. He's a leader of men, without a doubt. But seeing how things are so far this season, already have 4 losses through 9 games. That's not good. And the margin for error right now, especially in this loaded AFC conference, is very minimal. Margin for error is very, very minimal. And yeah, it's not looking good for them. And so yeah, that's really my second takeaway, is that Buffalo, their window, in my opinion, has shut in terms of Super Bowl aspirations, unless they make some serious changes. They really need some serious changes, because a lot of back and forth with Stephon Diggs going into this season, talking about how he's losing hope, essentially. And I'm kind of paraphrasing here, of what he thinks is a close Super Bowl window for this Bills team. Thoughts on Sean McDermott and just everything internal going on there. Josh Allen not being the same player after Brian Daboll left to go coach the New York Giants, who looked like dog shit. Um, I picked them to beat the Raiders, but hey, Raiders. Let me just say really quickly before I pivot here. You guys may have your coach. Look, it's against the Giants, who are not a great team. But again, a guy that he bleeds Raiders. It seems like you need a guy like that. You need a leader of men like that. And I mean, shoot, you even saw it on the players' faces. They're all smoking cigars after the win, like they won the freaking Super Bowl. But you know what? I'll let you all have that since you guys don't have many victories very often. Devonte Adams looks very happy, which every Raider fan should be happy about because he was looking like he was ready to dip after this season, and this looks like this is the change y'all needed. So we'll see how it goes from there, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. Really quickly before we get into my Week 10 NFL score predictions, let's just go over the playoff standings and where we stand up to this point. So, number one, we'll start from the AFC, go to the NFC. I have my Kansas City Chiefs at number one. Number two, the Baltimore Ravens. 3 seed, Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 4, Miami. That loss was very, very detrimental to the Miami Dolphins, sitting at the 4 seed. 5 seed, Pittsburgh Steelers. Your guys' offense sucks, but hey, you have a great defense that keeps you in games, so good for you all there. 6 seed, we got the Cleveland Browns. 7, eking in to the playoffs there, that final spot, the Cincinnati Bengals. First off, I don't know if you picked up on this, but all AFC North teams, if the season were to end today, are in the playoffs, which is crazy. Again, notable teams that are missing out so far: the Buffalo Bills, Chargers, New York Jets. Oh, shocker. Tennessee Titans, that I've said again and again. Just blow that shit up, man. Blow it up. You are not making the playoffs. You are not going to be in contention anytime soon. I do not understand why you try to continue to be respectable. Just face the music, blow it up, rebuild, and let's get this going all over again. That's what you all got to do. That's just me, though. That's just me. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just trying to, be realistic for you guys. I digress. Hitting this NFC side now, number 1 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles, standalone, 8-1, only 1 loss on the season so far. Detroit Lions, number 2. Check out them Lions. They should be 5-3, but it's all good. Yeah, that was like 9-10 weeks ago, so I won't be too salty about it. Number 3, San Francisco 49ers. 4 seed, New Orleans Saints. All right. Number 5, Seattle Seahawks. Number 6, the Dallas Cowboys. And number 7, Minnesota Vikings. Notable teams, again, that are facing from the outside in: Washington Commanders, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers. Hey, I know the Giants were in it last season, but they are abysmal, 2-7. So again, it's halfway through the season right now. It'll be interesting to see what goes on through this last half of the season and how that is going to shake up, because it will indeed shake up. Again, so many teams are missing out right now just because of one game. So that will obviously change, but there's for the most part, I think, at least for the AFC side, I think it's safe to say like 4 or 5 of those teams are going to be staying in that playoff picture. There may be a team, or definitely I would say 2 teams, that will probably drop out of that current playoff picture, and then 2 that are looking from the outside in are going to hop in. And from that NFC side, man, it's just so close. You have no idea what's going to happen there. That's definitely a lot more close, in my opinion, where it can shift a lot more. But hey, we'll see. But all I know is Chiefs are the number 1 seed. And who would have thought that was going to happen? Everybody. Well, I mean, not say everybody, because the Chiefs always have haters. But anyone who is objective and smart and knows this Chiefs team, aka me, knew that they were going to be there. All right, everyone. Before we get out of here, let's get to these predictions. I'm kind of laughing because these primetime games are just so bad. Thursday night, Panthers at Bears. I'm going to pick the Bears here just because they're the better team, barely. I mean, Panthers just got their win a few weeks ago, their only win on the season. But yeah, it's just, yeah, this is rough. But I'll pick the Bears here. I'll pick them to win 31-24. All right. Second game in Frankfurt, Germany. You have the Colts and Patriots. I'm going to pick the Colts here. Again, the Patriots, they should have won that game against the Commanders, but that was a tough turnover by Juju there to essentially seal that game up for the Commanders to get their fourth win of the season. I think the Colts are just a better team. Patriots will be lucky if they get 5 wins the rest of this season for the total. I mean, so they just need 2 or 3 more to hit that threshold. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Colts here to win more so of a lower scoring game. But they'll win this one, in my opinion, 24-18. Texans at Bengals. This is interesting. You know why this is interesting? Because CJ Stroud freaking balled out last game. Oh my God. 30 of 42, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? And look, I know it was the Buccaneers and they're not the greatest, but at the same time, like, this guy's a rookie and he's putting up these kinds of numbers. That's crazy. So I actually just picked him up in fantasy on claims. Hopefully no one picked him up before me, but we will see tomorrow morning. But yeah, look, regardless of all the praise I'm giving CJ Stroud and what I've given a little bit to the Texans so far this season, the Bengals are the better team. I think they'll win this one, but I think it'll be competitive. I will pick the Bengals here to win this game, though, 28-24. We have the Packers at Steelers next. I'm going to pick the Steelers here. Again, the Packers are still trying to figure out what they are here. There was some offensive life from the Steelers' perspective. Again, only winning 20-16 against that Tennessee team. But hey, Najee Harris has been putting up some numbers these past few games, getting that run game going a little bit. And again, I just don't believe in this Packers team, specifically their offense. So I'm going to pick the Steelers to win a low-scoring game here, 17-13. Tennessee at Buccaneers. I'm going to pick the Bucs because, look, Will Levis had a great first game, but again, I took that with a grain of salt. I didn't think he was going to be like this baller the rest of the season. And Baker Mayfield had a great game, even though it was in a loss to the Texans. He had a great game. So I think this offense can definitely perform against this Titans defense. Again, Titans, just face the music, man. It's time. So I'm going to pick the Buccaneers here. I'm going to pick them to win 27-21. This game, Browns at Ravens. 2 amazing defenses going up against each other. This is going to be a low-scoring game for sure. Browns coming off of a very dominant win against the Cardinals, holding them to literally 0 points. 0 points. There hasn't been any other game where a team has been held to 0 except for that season opener with the Cowboys at Giants where they shut them out completely. Damn, this is going to be a great game. I'm going to pick the Ravens here. I think they're the better team. They have the better offense, in my opinion. But it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great, hard-fought, physical, gritty NFC North matchup that we all know and love. I'm going to pick Baltimore here, though, 23-20. 49ers at Jaguars. Niners need this game. They need it bad. They're on a 3-game losing streak right now. They just got Chase Young to be a part of that defense now. Got him before the trade deadline from Washington. So I just think off of sheer desperation, that's going to be why this Niners team wins. But hey, Jacksonville, they're looking good. They are looking good at 6-2 right now. It'll be a good game. It'll be a higher scoring game, in my opinion, specifically from this Niners perspective. So I'm going to pick them to win here 31-27. Saints at Vikings. I'm going to pick the Saints here. Again, the Vikings with Josh Dobbs, who was just thrown into that game. Credit to him. And apparently he's like a freaking rocket scientist, so he's like stupid smart. Um, I mean, you would like to think that given how smart he is and how intelligent this kid is, that he can pick up any playbook and study it, and figure it out like that. He didn't even know any of his guys' freaking names on his own team. So credit to him for getting that win, regardless. But I think the Saints are an overall better team. Alvin Kamara is getting going there. That defense is no joke for sure. And Derek Carr is definitely settling into that team, I think. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Saints here to beat the Vikings 27-23. Falcons at Cardinals. Cardinals suck. Enough said. Falcons are going to be winning this game. Taylor Heinicke leading this team again after Desmond Ridder was benched by Arthur Smith. Yeah, Falcons are going to win this game. I'm not going to put too much into this. I'm picking them 30-21. Lions at Chargers. Ooh, this is an interesting game, but I'm going to pick the Lions here. The Lions are the better team coming off of a bye. Chargers, they looked good against the Jets, but it was more so because the Jets were just that bad. So I'm going to pick the Lions to win here. I'm not looking into too much this Chargers defense. Again, the Jets offense was just abysmal. That O-line is horrible too. So you can't hate too much on Zach Wilson. But yeah, the Lions are going to win this game here. I'm going to pick them to win 31-24. Giants at Cowboys. Cowboys should win this game. They're always due to just freaking lose a game that they shouldn't a few times. And obviously they had that one game against the Cardinals. That was horrible. But the Giants, they just look so bad. They look so bad. And so you would have to think that Cowboys are going to win this game. And pretty confidently, they are also in Jerry World as well. They play really good at home. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win big here. They're going to put up at least 35 points. I'm going to pick them to win, let's say 35-23. Commanders at Seahawks. This is an interesting game for the simple fact that Washington is one game out of this playoff picture currently. Seahawks are sitting pretty-ish. They're like in that 5-6 seed. This is going to be a good game, I think. But given the fact that the Commanders, obviously, yes, they're coming off that win against Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, but Patriots are not very good. Seahawks, I think, have an overall better team. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks to win. It would be nice to see if Washington could win. But I think the Seahawks will win this game here, 28-21. Jets at Raiders. I'm going to pick the Raiders here just because of how bad the Jets looked. And the Raiders are turning things around a little bit, specifically from a coaching standpoint, which I think was really one of the main issues here because they have the talent. I got to give it to them. They have the talent. They just did not have the right guy leading them. And Josh McDaniels, who, good thing he's out of there because he was horrible. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Raiders to win this game here. I think they can put up some numbers. So I'll pick them to win 27-20. And last but not least, Broncos at Bills. Again, to my point about the 49ers winning off of pure desperation, I think that's where this Bills team is at right now. Because their margin for error is so second to none, essentially, at this point in the season. Already have 4 losses through 9 games. They need to win this game. And the Broncos, I don't think they have any Super Bowl aspirations coming anytime soon. Obviously, I know you got Sean Payton, you got Russell Wilson. You're trying to rebuild here, but let's be honest, that's not going to happen, at least anytime soon within these next few seasons. Whereas the Bills have been trying to have this Super Bowl window open as long as possible. It's been open for the past 3-4 seasons, but it is closing, and it is closing rapidly. So I'm going to pick the Bills to win this game here. Again, based off of pure desperation, I do think they also have the better team. But this defense for the Broncos is turning around a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. But pick the Bills here. I'm going to pick them to win this game. I think it may be slightly lower scoring, but they'll just do enough to win this game. They'll win 24-21. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you all today. Again, Chiefs are on their bye week, so that's nice. They got to rest up, get their shit together on offense in particular. That would be nice. But yeah, thank you all for listening, and I will catch you all next time. Peace.